This VAWatchdog.org news video is brought to you by Bergman & Moore, LLC. Former VA attorneys now fighting VA for you. Call Bergman & Moore at 877-838-2889 or on the web at vetlawyers.com.
We now have a report about a remarkable Vietnam veteran who's made the spirit of Memorial Day his personal mission. With pencil and paper, he helps the families of those who've died in Iraq and Afghanistan remember their loved ones as they lived before duty called. Here's Bob Woodruff.
Michael Regan is on a solemn mission.
I think the country has a broken heart. I'm trying to help a portion of this country heal in the only way I know how.
A veteran of combat in Vietnam, Regan now spends nearly all his time in his home near Seattle, drawing portraits of the fallen from this generation's wars as a gift to their families.
I'll never forget their lost loved one, and I'm doing my best with these portraits to bring some part of them home.
In more than 30 years as an artist, Regan has drawn thousands of portraits, presidents, actors, celebrities, but he's put all that aside. Now he draws at least 2 fallen heroes a day, every day, and receives not a penny in return. This is Specialist William Evans, a National Guardsman from Pennsylvania, killed by a roadside bomb at the age of 22. His father asked Regan to do the portrait.
I start with those eyes. And the minute the eyes start looking at me, there's life in the picture.
Since he began 4 years ago, Regan has completed more than 1,200 portraits. Word is spreading among families, and Michael says he'll keep going until all the dead from Iraq and Afghanistan have been memorialized in his art. Joe Colgan's son, Ben, who died in Baghdad in 2003, was one of the first.
I'd never met a person who loved the folks in the armed forces and their families as much as Mike Regan.
Hey, how you doing, partner?
On the day Joe picked up Ben's portrait, he and Michael got to talking and immediately made a connection.
I think God put Ben Colgan in my life, and Joe came along with it.
And I told him that first day that I really felt Ben wanted me to meet him and to know him.
Now pull that back.
In many ways, their friendship seems unlikely. Colgan, an outspoken critic of the war, spends many of his days protesting the conflict that claimed his son.
The sad, sad truth is that his service and his death had nothing to do with protecting our freedom.
Regan thinks that war, for all its brutality, is sometimes a necessary evil.
I've helped people who've died in war. I've helped parts of people who have died in war. I hate war. But I believe wholeheartedly that sometimes it's inevitable. These are them.
Despite their differences, Joe volunteered to help Mike with his project. He shops for supplies, carefully addresses each envelope, slides the portrait inside, and sends the precious cargo on its journey home. All so Michael has more time to draw.
The portrait project is teaching people that 2 people with different views politically can both love them and take care of them and never forget them.
What's the reaction from these families when they see these pictures?
Thanks for bringing my son home. Thanks for bringing my husband home. A lot of coffins come home screwed closed. The image that the families have to live with is the image of what's in the coffin. When I send them these portraits, the image they live with is the image that's on this portrait.
Last week, Michael completed the portrait of Specialist Evans. Joe packed it up and drove it to the post office. And just in time for Memorial Day, William Evans is home and back in his father's arms. Bob Woodruff, ABC News, Edmonds, Washington.
What wonderful gifts from 2 special men. You can see a slideshow with more of Michael Regan's portraits and connect to his website for more photos and testimonials from families. That's at abcnews.com.
VAWatchdog.org, the nation's #1 independent veterans website. On the web at VAWatchdog.org.